The following is the instructions for the subdivision midterm. When you open up the drawing that I provided you online, you will see something that looks like this. It is a project that has been started, and it is your job to complete it. You'll be creating a small subdivision construction plan. It'll include a cover sheet, a dimension plan, a grading plan, and plan and profiles. Before you continue with the design, I want you to look up some information on the project. You're going to be using the Orange County info map and the Orange County property appraisers. Our project is this location here. I have provided you the website link in the instructions, and I've also provided you the parcel ID number in the instructions. Note that in the parcel ID number, when you're working with the info map, it's written like this to type into the location parcel by ID, and when you're working with property appraisers, it is written either with dashes as in section, township, and range, or range, township, and section. Okay, so what you're going to be doing with that information is I need you to pull the zoning map, the soils map, the floodplain map for the project in an aerial. This is like one of the previous homework assignments you did. So I want you to pull that information from these two websites. Once you get this information, what I want you to do is you're going to work on a cover sheet. The information that you need to be put on the cover sheet is listed in the instructions. In addition, I have given you an example. So on the cover sheet, what you're going to do is you're going to create a sheet index. It's not going to be something this large. It'll have the sheet 1 will be a cover, sheet 2 is dimension plan, 3 is a grading plan, 4 is the profile for road A, 5 is another portion of the profile for road A, and then sheet 6 will be the plan and profile for road B. Now, you also have on the cover sheet is you're going to put down who the project is for, so come up with a client, and then you're going to list who the utility providers are: water, sewer, electric, cable, telephone. You can get that information from the websites that I told you about earlier. Give your project a name. So it'll be construction plans for. Come up with a subdivision name for your project. It is not in Osceola County, it is in Orange County. List the section, township, and range that the project is in. You will be using this month and this year's date, not this one. And you will put in your parcel ID number here. You will also create some type of a site map so you can put it on the cover. The other information that I want you to update is, again, so the site information that I want you to create is the owner. So come up with a client owner name. Your objective is to create single family residential lots. Tell me what the existing zoning is and the existing land use and what you propose. So you're going to be changing the zoning from an institutional to residential. So your site is actually at Valencia College and you're making student housing. So you got to change that to some type of residential. You'll also list the setbacks, and the setbacks are listed in the instruction. Disregard this this note here that is for another project. This is a revision cloud with a revision number, so don't worry about that one. Now, you'll list out the minimum lot sizes. You're going to be using a 50 by 90 or a 70 by 100. List the minimum area, so that's just the square footage. In your site calculations, all you have to do is actually list the total acreage. You don't have to list the wetlands. Also list the number of lots that you've created that is shown on the plans. We are not doing phasing, so you don't need that. To do the density calculations, figure out what the area of the project is, and then you're going to take the number of units that were created. Basically, DU stands for dwelling units. So how many lots we created, and we're going to take the area divided by that number. Do not worry about the trip generation. We are not going to be doing trip generation for this project, so don't worry about this. Okay, so update the cover sheet with that information. So you're going to type it up, make it look nice, something similar to the examples that I've shown you in class. So the next thing that you're going to be working on is going to be the dimension plan. So I've already got a sheet set up for you. This is at a 50 scale. So on the dimension plan, you're going to need to go ahead and finish up dimensioning the setbacks and labeling the project. What I mean by that, so I'm going to switch over here so it's easier to see, is there's no setbacks on here. So I'm going to give you an example of what I'm looking for the dimensions. So if you take a look at this, you can see that these are my setbacks. I've got a 10-foot setback. This one actually has a this is a 10-foot utility easement. This is a 25-foot setback. And you've got 5-foot setbacks on the side yards and a 10-foot setback on the rear. Now, these go across the lines. They're not all trimmed up because this easement goes through the entire thing. And it's also an easement through here. And it doesn't extend back because there's also an easement. So I've got easements and setbacks in this project. So what I'm looking for is a similar pattern that you'll create for your setback lines. So go ahead and offset it 10, and then this is 25 feet from the right-of-way line, 5 feet from the lot line, and 10 feet from their rear line. Now, when you're adjacent to a street, the side street setback is 10 feet, and it coincides with that 10-foot utility easement. You need to go ahead and label everything. So you got a sidewalk, a Miami curb, which is 2 feet wide, 11-foot lanes. Go ahead and label out the right-of-way as such. Notice that I have curves, C 127s, 123s, whatever. Don't worry about doing curve tables. Go ahead and have the labels as I show it. You don't have to create curve tables on that. So your job is to go ahead and put the setbacks in this, and the labeling of the right-of-way. Okay, so labeling out for both roads A and road B. So this is road A, and I've done road A. Oops, I need to switch this to not triangles. Okay, so I've already designed road A for you, and you can see the contours that I've created it, and you can see the spot grades that I've created for road A. So your job is to do road B, this little section through here. You do need to make sure that you understand that when you start road B, that you're going to use the elevation 124.18 to be the start of your profile. And you're going to start your alignment at the intersection and move toward the cul-de-sac. All right, I've already got this location, so when you create the profile, you're going to put the profile over here so it falls into place on this sheet here. So it's already set up. So when you draw the profile, set it at the end of that line and it will be perfectly set up for you. Also notice that I have got your grading plan started. What your job now is to finish the grading is to create the alignment for road B, create using the assembly that I gave you here. It's a 50-foot assembly. It's a 50-foot road right-of-way width. You're going to use that, and you're going to create your own surface for road B. Once you do that, I want you to put spot elevations on this roadway. So you're going to put spot elevations along the edge of the right-of-way at the lot lines up to here. Go ahead and stop at this point right here. What you're going to do is you're going to then finish up the grading for the rear lot lines using feature lines. You may need to refresh yourself on how to use feature lines from the previous video. All right, so you're going to add feature lines, and then you're going to add them to this surface here. So add your feature lines, get elevations in the back, and then create your remaining surface and spot grade these. These, I'm not going to worry about you grading out the cul-de-sac, but do put spot grades on the front 2 lot lines here and the edge of right-of-way here. And I want spot grades. I want you to finish up spot grades that look like this. I'm going to give you an example of a grading plan. So notice on the grading plan, I have spot grades on the fronts of the lots. I have spot grades where there are high points, okay? I want you to go ahead and do spot grades at the intersection, and I'll show you an example of that. So you're going to be adding spot grades like this intersection drawing. So at the curb returns, I want you to add spot grades. We're just trying to make sure that our intersection drains. So what you're going to do is once you get your spot grades done, then just make sure that you tag the curb returns. And what I mean by that, like for road A, I can just copy this endpoint. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Copy this. And add it to this endpoint here. And add it to this endpoint here. Also note that when you're doing like annotation, that when it asks you to label the surface and you do a spot elevation, as soon as you hit add, it's going to tell you down here to press enter or the spacebar key to get a selection. So when you go to do your own road B, you have to change the surface, okay? Just make sure you understand that. On the plan on the grading plan here, I did show you this, and I forgot to clarify this box here. So you're going to be setting the front lot grades. Now you can use feature lines to set the rear lot grades, or you can just do the manual calculation. It is up to you. I prefer you use feature lines, but if you're having a hard time with the feature lines, then you can look at what the distance is and have a 2% slope up. These are all type A grades. That means everything drains. If you look at the spot grades, everything drains to the front of the lot. So the finished floor elevation is going to be 2.25 higher than the highest front lot grade. So this one would be adding 2.25 to get the finished floor elevation. Now the center line road elevation actually comes from the spot grade in the dead center of the lot. So that's just a manual type. This is just a text box. Now how to get that center spot grade is you're going to use your surface points. And what I do is I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to go endpoint, mid between 2 points. There's a lot of different ways to find this. Endpoint to endpoint, and then I'm going to take this and now make it go perpendicular. Now, I don't want to see all these spot grades on there, so change the layer to the 0 no plot. Okay, so that was accidentally turned off, so let me 0 star. So you'll be able to read that spot grade that's in the center of your drawing. It appears I turned the wrong no plot layer on. I apparently have 2 of them. There's a no plot there, and there is a no plot there. Let me go to the model space. and do it again. I must have erased it, or I don't see where I put it. Okay, so now I found it. It's here. It doesn't change colors, but it is on the no plot layer. So this is the center line elevation that you would use. You would find where it is dead center of the roadway in between these two, and you would use that in this block. It'll be your responsibility to create these blocks. I'm not putting those in there for you. So finished floor is 2.2 feet higher than the highest elevation on the front lot corner. Center line elevation is from your surface of your roadway, and all of them are lot A. If it was a lot B, then you could see that it drains to the front and to the back. That's why you've got a lot B, okay? And you always pick the higher finished floor, or you always pick the higher center line. So it could be this elevation back here as a center line, or this elevation up here. All right. For the last part of the design, you're going to be creating plan and profiles. So I've already started the plan and profile for you here. So in this, you can see that I have got the center line of the roadway, and I've got the plan and profile set. What you need to do in this drawing is notice that I don't have this labeled at the end like we did in class, so I need the station or the elevations on this label. Notice that the profile comes around, and then it will have a start and a stop. It also should have a match line here to match up here with a match line here, meaning it's just a continuation of the profile. Now, the next thing is taking a look at profile for your street. So I've got it set up that the roadway is in the correct location. You're going to create, remember to start your proposed profile at 124. So you're going to have to create an alignment, and then create the surface profile, the existing surface profile, and then you're going to have to design the proposed surface profile. What I would suggest is taking a look at this elevation. You want all of this water to drain down the street and into here. This is where your absolute low point is right here. So you want to make sure that the water drains from this side of the street all the way across. Okay, so you can see it goes from 125 to 123. All right, so you can also note that you have to have a minimum slope of 0.4%. If you decide to put a low point in this project, in this roadway here, then you're going to need a vertical curve. Okay, and then lastly, let me show you what needs to go on in the profile. So in the profile sheet, I have one here. You will get extra credit if you put in storm pipes, design the storm pipes. I'm not assuming you know how to size them just yet, but at least put them into the plan view and the profile view, and then put them, label them out. So this is the information that needs to be on in the plan and profile. Once you get all of this set, I want you to plot everything, and let me show you how to plot. So when you're creating these PDFs, you can click on the first cover sheet, click on the last plan sheet, right click, and then publish selected layouts. You should be able to have it say PDF and then just do a multiple sheet. If this doesn't work and it causes errors because of possibly not having the pen style, then just print them out individually. Okay, so again, you're responsible to do the cover sheet. I'm giving you examples. Review this video if you have questions on what needs to go on each, and if you get stuck, You can send me a message. I will actually be out of town and not have access to my computer while this test is being given. So I can only email. So I won't be able to look at your drawings or anything like that. So be aware of that. Okay. So if you have questions, just email me. Thanks and good luck.